sisters, man, and I'm just gonna go over just the three of the values that consist within the philosophy in which Marcus Mosiah Garvey actually stated within his book. He said that black people, or so-called black people, you can say, we must share a common history, heritage, ethnicity, and so forth with each other. Also, we must manufacture our own black institutions and strategize due to the standpoint in which we have an understanding of based on the oppression, the humiliation, the brutalization, and chastisement, and so forth. Also, we must take pride within our descent. We must take pride within our color. We must take pride of who we are too as well, because understanding of who we are, as far as like where we come from to our add on, as far as where we need to go, that's truly vital. It's truly vital for us to really understand that, because once you have knowledge in your psychologies of Africa, and you understand that you're an African man or woman, or whatever the case may be, you'll definitely go back to the motherland and everything. And also, I would add on to as well, based on how Africa gets respect, or how people perceive Africa, or how Africans get treated over there in the continent, is based on how we get treated over here that's located in the Western Hemisphere, because we are nothing more but than a reflection of the homeland which we all derive from. Many people want to say too as well that I'm not an African. I'm a Native American, I'm a Hebrew, I'm a Moor, I'm a Nuwapian. I'm not going to associate myself pertaining to my nationality of saying that I'm an African. Well, guess what, brother and sister? If you don't want to say that you're an African, you want to say that you're a Moor, you're a Nuwapian, you're a Native American, or even you want to call yourself as a form of nationality, you can say, an alien. Your oppression, your humiliation, your chastisement, your brutalization is the same when it comes down to us suffering from white supremacy. Your sufferings have the same kind of effects, and it's the same kind of treatment in which we are receiving. So, brother, we are all a part of one family. We are all brothers and sisters that suffering from white supremacy, even that's located here in the Western Hemisphere. But should I say, and add on to as well, that the oppression and the brutalization and the chastisement and so forth is either worse than outside of the United States, the borderlines. When you go into the Caribbean islands and so forth, you'll see white supremacy at its height, white racism at its height. So you get what I'm saying? We must understand who we are, but let's go through the thorough process of restoration. And once you go through the thorough process of restoration by self and everything, you have to examine your thoughts, your paradigm, your language and so forth, and ask yourself, is this in the right state of righteousness? Does it align with the nature and so forth? You get what I'm saying? And also your spirit, have myself been holding on old things that I know that's detrimental, and I know that's not going to extend me to a whole different level and everything. So create a list. Create a list of things that I can possibly restore my psychology, restore my mind, restore my emotions, restore my spirit and everything, because we truly need the healing. But as far as healing go too, I would say as well, is that we need to let go of things and understand the pain as far as the things in which we hold on to. You get what I'm saying? You cannot act like you want to get healed and you say that you're not hurt and you don't want to acknowledge that. You have to acknowledge the pain in what you have, so you actually could release that and you actually could ascend to a whole different level within life. And this is what life is all about. Life is all about graduation. If you're not graduating within life, then you're truly operating on a dead state. And when you operate on a dead state, you are truly living in the past. And when you are truly living in the past, then you're already dead. I'm not talking about a physical sense, but I'm talking about psychological, emotional, and spiritual sense. You get what I'm saying? You know, and another thing too, as well, when it comes down to creating the solutions, as far as us unifying together, we must listen to one another. You get what I'm saying? As far as them having ideals or solutions or whatever the case may be, because we gotta understand that our pain and our suffering, our trauma is all the same. You get what I'm saying? and we got to make sure that we hear each brother out and understanding, not just understanding, because I'm so big on understanding, because that is the strong basis of where your psychology can actually take over, so you can actually perceive the value within something. You just don't understand based on third dimensional level, or based on the surface level, I would say. So we must have room for understanding and hearing out another brother ideal, another sister ideal, when it comes down to just the solutions as far as the liberation ultimately for African people. And also, too, I would say that we must showcase the liberation within us. Once we actually extract the history and study and examine and marinate and meditate and so forth on the history, as far as not only just slavery, because slavery definitely played a pivotal role within our condition, you can say too, and that's why our paradigm is in a state. But ancient times, as far as the African presence in ancient Rome, as far as the African presence in ancient China, and so forth. Once we have the thorough knowledge of who we are, once we go all the way back to the beginning, at least about 45,000 years ago, or even more than that, at least about 5 million years ago, because it was an article around July of 2001 or July of 2002 that it was European white archaeologists that they actually found within Lake Chad, okay, that it was a skull, it was bones, it was evidence that it was a man that was actually there around 6 or 7 million years ago. So understanding that we are the ancient people and we are the only ancient people on this planet Earth, I think that we should all have that within common. I think we should all have that, within our minds. So so it can be no problem, I could say, for us to unify with one another. We could unify within a commonality in which we share. I receive the pain from the same enemy as you do. My ancestors went through the same chastisement as your ancestors have too as well, on the same soil, on the same planet Earth. So I think that is something that we should all have within mind. Me personally, I talk about Black Unity Matters, and not saying that because it seems like it sounds like a cool, catchy phrase. I say Black Unity Matters because there's no other unification that matters besides Black, because when you refer to Black, you got to talk about the oppressed group that not only have been chastised and traumatized by the foreign man, but we have been stripped out of the rituals in which we also practice too as well. We have been stripped out of the organic food of which we ate from the earth too as well. And we haven't been the same, or we haven't been in our right state of paradigm or spirit or emotion or so forth, because we're in a foreign land. And this is foreign people that's around us. As Dr. Ivan Van Sertima himself, he stated, he said, there is no such thing as an American man that's living on the face of this earth anymore. There's only Africans and Europeans that's located on the face of this planet Earth now too as well. So you got to question yourself, what it's going to take for me to actually liberate myself. You got to literally, and I suggest this to all brothers and sisters, that you should go out, spend around 15 or 20 minutes with yourself, listen to the inner spirit that's within, and actually dig deep to actually soul search and write out the things, and you will examine and you extract away from those things. You will implement that and then put that into effect so you can ultimately change your life. But this is what we all need to do before it can be a physical revolution. Most brothers and sisters, they want to talk about, we need to unify, we need to have a revolution, we need to do this, we need to do that. But many people don't even talk about the process, the painful process too, I should say, as far as what we all need to undergo. I'm still in that process as well. I don't skip steps, even though I don't try not to skip steps, even though at times I think about doing it. Because I realize when you undergo that painful process, ultimately, this is going to be the inner being in which you're going to wake up to each and every day. And you got to really love the inner being that you wake up to every single day. Because if you don't, I would tell you, brothers and sisters, then you have to keep doing it over and over and over again till you are literally satisfied of the inner being that's within. But most importantly, when you look yourself in the mirror, I should say, that you really got to be satisfied with how you look externally. Many brothers and sisters, they hate how they look externally due to the propaganda and the teachings that many people have taught them when they were in a white educational institution. They taught them how to hate themselves. What did Carter G. Woodson himself, he stated? He said that he spent 20 years within Harvard Institute, or Harvard University, excuse me. And the white man told him how much of his skin that he should hate and so forth. He taught him how to self-hate. He didn't taught him how to love himself. He didn't taught him about his unique features he have, perceiving within Africa, the reflection of it externally that he had. You get what I'm saying? So we must really love who we are. And also I would say that Marcus Mosiah Garvey himself, he stated, and I'm going to leave you guys with this. He said, a race that consists without no authority or no power is a race that don't get no respect. A race that don't consist of no power or no authority is a race that don't get any respect. So, brother and sister, my offer is that I'm manufacturing an organization, and that I want to hear the ideals of multiple brothers and sisters, so we can strategize about our problems in which we have, so we can change our reality. I understand that I am the present ancestor. I realize that, and we all are too. But first, I think that we should definitely re-examine ourselves and so forth. But on that note, brothers and sisters, thank you for your time. Peace and joy.